Why do you think that people have a problem with, let's just say, limited atonement? That's the one that usually comes up. Have you heard like gotten any pushback, any meaningful pushback, that you've heard of why people usually reject that one out of the 5 points?
Well, yeah, I mean, most people, if people were introduced to the faith like through an altar call, where
Ah,
it was presented to them that Christ has died for you, therefore you need to uh, do this. So it's just generally Christ died for everybody, so you can make His atonement effective in your life by doing the following things: by walking down this aisle, by getting baptized, and different denominations will have a different list of things you can do.
correct.
Then, if it's presented to you in that way, you're going to have it can be very disturbing and challenging and hard for you to later on in your Christian life have to stop and go, the people that introduced me to the faith didn't quite have it right.
Mm,
And so a lot of folks just aren't willing to go there. In some sense, in their mind, that is questioning the validity of their own profession of faith. And so they're just wanting to go to it. We used to have, back in the 90s, I think it was in 96, we started what was called an IRC chat channel. I think IRC still exists. I'm not sure. But this was literally, IRC was before like AOL and stuff like that.
oh, okay. Wait, there was something before AOL?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Ask the former vice president. He invented it all, anyways.
Ah,
And
man.
so he's invented a lot of fictional stuff. Come to think of it, but anyway, uh, it's true. It's true. The guy got a Nobel Prize for making stuff up. It's great. Anyway, so it was a chat channel, and we had this lady come in one night, and she was from the Church of Christ. Now, the Church of Christ is strongly anti-reformed, very strongly anti-reformed.
Mm,
And so she had some questions. And so we started walking through some stuff with her, and she said, "Wow, I've never thought about that. I'm gonna talk to my elders and come back." So she comes back, and she's gotten standard answers. And eventually, what we did is we walked her through John chapter 6, because I don't know if you've seen my debate with Leighton Flowers on that subject, but
I did.
if you want to see someone just spin in circles and jump through hoops, watch them try to get through John chapter 6 without jumping someplace else and skipping
Oh,
the meaning
yeah.
of the text. And so we walked her through John chapter 6, and she goes back, and she comes back to us. She's like, "Well, they said to say this, but I got to admit, this doesn't make any sense." And to make a long story short, over probably about 2 months of conversation, she and her family left the Church of Christ, and she has for years been a personal assistant to a well-known Reformed theologian and author in the Midwest.
Oh, wow.
And the thing that was really neat about it was, from her perspective, she said, "Look, even when it was going to cost her her church and her job and all the rest of the stuff, she said, I have to believe what Scripture says.
Yes.
Scripture is the very words of Christ, and I'm a sheep of Christ. I have to believe what Jesus says, no matter what that ends up meaning personally to me and things like that." And she did. And so when I see folks like that, um, that's when I know I'm seeing the Spirit of God working in someone's heart and life. I really, really do.
Hmm.
So, you know, over the years, when I've presented, I've written books, The Potter's Freedom introduced so many people to Reformed theology. And I'm so thankful for that book. When I wrote it, I was very concerned because Norman Geisler's book I thought would be confusing to a lot of people and things like that. But man, now a quarter century down the road, I just see the providence of God and how all of that worked. But look, I people will sometimes have me come over and you've got to explain this. I can't change anybody's heart and mind.
Right.
I can put the scriptures to them. I can answer questions. But especially when it comes to this, if I'm reformed, I realize God's the one that's got to change that person's heart, not me. I
Amen.
can't, I can't go there. I don't have that power. And so you just have to lovingly present it. And if someone says, yeah, no, I reject that. I've talked to lots of people. Um, when I get to go to, like when I go to G3, ever been to G3?
Yeah, actually, I got a picture of you and I together at G3.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how long did you stand in line?
I actually got there pretty quick because this is right after the Trent Horn debate in 2017.
Okay. All right.
So, I knew that the debate was almost over, so I hopped in line pretty quickly.
Well, I don't know if those lines after those debates, when I
Yeah.
debated my Muslim friend, Adnan Rashid there, the line of people that I greeted after the debate was 90 minutes
Oh, wow.
until I got to leave that place. And so if you've ever been to G3 when we have our booth set up, I'll stand there for 3-4 hours talking
Really?
to people and shaking hands and taking pictures and signing books and answering questions and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know why. No one ever told us this, but Rich and I have always felt like if you're going to go to something like G3 where people have spent hundreds of dollars to come there, I'm not going to hide in my hotel room. I'm not going to hide in the green room. I'm
Right.
going to be out where the people are.
Exactly.
And the last national conference, the next one's coming up in September, and I'll be driving to it too. But my wife came for the first time. And because I wanted her to hear all the people talking about how the ministry that she's been so central in making available, because she worked full time for the
Yeah.
airlines. That's how I had health insurance.
Oh,
And so I wanted her to hear a lot of those stories. And at first she sort of just stood there and was listening. Man, by the end of the conference, she's in charge of the line. We need to move this line over. It was great. It was really, really neat to see. But when I talk to people in those lines, I can't tell you how many of them will come up and they'll literally say things like, I need to apologize to you because I have said some horrible things about you over the years. I hated you.
just for the record, I never said anything horrible about you. I've only said good stuff. So, just for the record,
Well,
you can go and check all of my tweets.
And what's interesting is the thing that got so many people. Have you ever heard the Bible Answer Man broadcast with George Bryson when I was on?
I don't think I heard that. What? Hold on. Wait.
I debated him. Yes, that debate a lot too. But
okay.
I was on for 3 days. George Bryson, Hank Hanegraaff versus me on Reformed Theology in 2003, was it? I think it was 2003. And I remember I had a friend with me. He was just sitting there watching. And I wrote on my notepad during one of the commercial breaks, this is the last time I will ever be on the Bible Answer Man. I knew it.
Oh, wow.
I could tell. It was an ambush. And it backfired big time on them. And
oh, yeah, because of where Hank Hanegraaff is now?
No, well, yes, but that was still years before he converted to Eastern Orthodoxy.
Right.
It did not go well for them. They did not work well together. George Bryson did not work well with Hank Hanegraaff. And so over the years, I've just had so many people come up to me and say, I was listening to the Bible Answer Man when you were on talking about this, and I was yelling at the radio while I was driving down the road, and I was cussing you out, and here I am, and I'm reformed now. And so the point is, if someone walks away and you've explained it as best you can, I don't have to be frustrated. I don't have to be upset.
Right.
The Spirit of God's going to do what the Spirit of God's going to do. If I do the best I can, and I do it for the glory of Christ, if someone says, I think you're a nut, okay, fine. No
Yeah.
worries. I mean, I'll be
Hey,
honest.
thank you guys for watching the video. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you like this particular content, hit that subscribe button as well if you have not done so. Also, check out this most recent video that I've done right here, or check out some of these other videos that I've done concerning the same topic. All right, you guys have a blessed day.